I love design challenges. They're always my favorite in Drag Race. But when I was digging through the history of Drag Race, I started to realize just how often the design challenge results are controversial. It seems like maybe even more often than not, the winner of the design challenge should have been someone else. Today's list, we will be talking about the most robbed design challenge wins in history. For this list, I'll be including design challenges and balls. The only thing I won't be including here are makeover challenges, because we know how rigged those ones can be anyway. For the ball challenges, I know the queens are supposed to include 3 looks, 2 that they brought from home, and a third look that they create based on the criteria, so I'm only going to be including the queens who rightfully could have won the ball with their other 2 looks. With that note, let's dive into the most robbed design challenge wins in history. I feel like of all the seasons, the most forgotten season seems to be season 8. I know we remember Bob the Drag Queen, I know we remember Kimchi and Naomi doing amazing, we love Thorgy and Chi Chi, but do we remember much of the challenges? I bet you probably forgot what the first challenge of the season was, which was a design challenge where the queens had to create a look based on a design challenge of the past. This involved all the queens getting a different design box with materials from that challenge. The winner ended up being Kim Chi for her great cat-inspired hairball look. However, I don't think she was the right winner. The winner, in my opinion, should have been Acid Betty's Moneyball look. The Moneyball was on season 3 and it was the second ball of that season. It was won by the amazing Raja herself. Acid Betty, though, turned out a look that, in my controversial opinion, may have even been on the same level as Raja's look during that season. She chose to involve different colors and different flows and designs to create an amazing Moneyball inspired look. Whereas I feel Kimchi's look was kind of shoulder heavy and made it look like she had no neck, which is a critique that we know Michelle loves to give to many queens, especially my Iman LePage last season. That's why I'm putting Acid Betty here at number 9. The 8th most robbed design challenge win was the Crystal Ball on Drag Race Season 15 with Mistress Isabelle Brooks. The Crystal Ball was interesting. The queens had to present 3 looks: Start Your Engines, a look related to actual drag racing, their favorite ball, a look inspired by a previous ball, and Crystallized Eleganza, a look they had to create using crystals in the workroom. This challenge was originally won by Sasha Colby, who turned out 3 decent looks. In all honesty though, it was a strange ball, as the strongest looks turned out to be the design looks. That doesn't usually happen. In the first category, most of the queens sort of missed the mark when it came to drag racing, and the second category was confusing to start. It seemed like it was a bit unclear whether they were supposed to create the looks themselves or not, which is why Marcia, Anitra, and Lucy came out in looks that looked like they were designed in the workroom, while Mistress and Sasha turned out clearly designer-created looks. The final category had some absolutely stellar looks, however. You've got Lux coming out in a look entirely made of crystals, while Anitra turned out what might be my favorite design look in history. This being a ball, we have to look at all 3 of the looks, and I think both Lux and Anitra missed the mark on one of their looks, Lux being her first and Anitra being her second. Sasha's first and last looks probably weren't anything amazing either, which is why I think the true robbed queen was Mistress Isabelle Brooks. She had a complete package and an amazing design look to top it off. That's why we've got Mistress here at number 8. When you hear the word robbed, the first season you might think about is All Stars 8. It was so controversial in results that we had Heidi N Closet actually ending up quitting the season. Heidi, coincidentally, is number 7 on this list for her amazing supermarket ball looks. The supermarket ball was interesting. We had queens creating looks out of materials that you would find in a supermarket, whether it's food or sort of papers or things that you could just find throughout the different aisles. The winner was my favorite, Jessica Wilde, who glued things to a corset. Jimbo was in the top for gluing things to a corset. And then we had two other queens in the top. I think Candy Muse and Lala Ree were in the top, but it was really unclear whether the judges liked or didn't like their looks. At the end of the day, the two best looks of the week belong to the safe queens, Heidi N Closet for her amazing paper-created supermarket look, and Kahana Montrese's color block look. I give Heidi the 7th spot here because she had a great complete package for the ball, and this was the moment that Heidi said, "Yep, I'm done. I'm leaving All Stars 8." She didn't end up leaving for 2 more episodes, but she told Kahana in the Untucked that this was it. This was the end. And looking back, she was right. Gluing things to a corset shouldn't win you a design challenge, and Heidi knew it, and that's why she is number 7. All Stars 3 was a crazy, entertaining season. We all know about the jury twist and the ben de la creme of it all that made it chaotic and entertaining. The ball challenge on the season was another element of chaos. This was the Warhol ball. First, the queens had to create a look where they wore a soup can, which I guess is Andy Warhol's soup can, but really, we're not going to discuss that. Instead, we're going to talk about the second look. The 6th most robbed queen was Aja for her Studio 54 realness look. Aja was the most improved queen from her first appearance to All Stars. After nearly going home for her design look last time, she stepped up her game to create an awesome Studio 54 inspired look, and one of the only looks on that stage that you probably could have seen at Studio 54 back in the day. Sure, her hair may have been a little bit out of era, but that still made a better look than the one that Bibi Zahara Benet wore, who ended up winning the challenge. Worst of all though, Aja made Bibi's look. The judges liked to ream Aja for her pronunciation and for some of her design choices, but at the end of the day, her look was not one of the worst of the week, and very rightly could have been in the top 2. Aja ended up being sent home later that episode by Bibi, the queen who she made her dress that put her in the top. I don't know why we don't talk about this more, but this is one of the most cutthroat eliminations in history, and is why Bibi is iconic, but still why Aja is on this list. Season 11's Monster Ball will always be remembered as one of the most controversial and confusingly judged challenges in history. I remember at the time it was one of the first times that I truly saw Twitter and Reddit and the internet just blow up because of the results of a challenge. The queens had to wear 3 looks: the Trampy Trick-or-Treater, a Witch Please look, and a MILF Eleganza look, a monster they'd like to freak, constructed from materials in the workroom to be inspired by a monster. The win for this challenge was given to Brooklyn Heights, who turned out 3 fine looks. Her design look was definitely one of the better ones of the week, but it was hardly one of the best. That honor, and the 5th most robbed design challenge win, belongs to Scarlet Envy for her Creature from the Black Lagoon inspired look. The reason I would give this win to Scarlet over Plastique, Brooke, or Nina was that this look was unlike anything we had seen up to that point. She created a monster, but made it fashionable. And unlike Plastique and Brooke, where their monster was just kind of a spooky lady, Scarlet created a character that we are all familiar with and put it on the runway in a fashionable and amazing way. Scarlet has always been one of those queens who was underappreciated by the judges during their run, and this was just another example. That's why we've got Scarlet here at number 5. When you think of design challenges, you might think back to the very first one, Drag on a Dime, where the queens need to create a look out of cheap materials. This is great for Drag Race because this is something that queens go through on their day-to-day life, creating looks for their shows. And no, for this list, I am not talking about Nina Flower's amazing look that she turned out in the very first episode of Drag Race. Instead, I'll be talking about the Season 10 Drag on a Dime challenge. This challenge was initially won by Mayhem Miller for her black look that she created, but the true winner of this challenge was Mo Hart, who was then known as Monique Hart. She created many of the looks during her original season, and the best of which might have been her Drag on a Dime creation. She's really an underrated seamstress in the history of Drag Race. The dress that she created this week was created out of paper and playing cards, and it wasn't even placed in the top. These were the other two looks that ended up being in the top. This is exactly why Mo deserved to be in the top, if not win the challenge. She created this look in the time it took Monet to make the sponge dress or Vanjie to make her little Barbie dress. Mo deserved better. Roxy Andrews has always been one of the best seamstresses on the show. She could be on this list in her own right for her amazing ball look where she lost out to Alaska's cotton candy inspired dress during the Sugar Ball. Instead, though, I'm going to be talking about the time that Roxy was given a win that I think another queen may have deserved. In the premiere of Season 5, the queens had to create a look out of garbage and make it couture. Most of the queens this episode decided to create looks that were mostly fabric that just turned out to be pretty dresses, which was fine, but the queen who really took the category of trash and ran with it was Lanacia Sparks, who made an entire look out of wallpaper. While the other queens were just focusing on looking pretty and designing something that they were used to, Lanacia created something out of mostly paper and one shoe and captured the idea of trash couture. Who else would have thought to use a shoe as a headpiece? Only Lanacia. Lanacia thought outside the box and deserved the first design challenge win of the season. That's why she is the third most robbed design challenge queen in history. The second most robbed design challenge win was Lady Camden in Season 14's Glamazon Prime challenge. This challenge involved queens creating looks out of materials found in Glamazon packages. Do you get the pun? Glamazon? Well, we saw some surprisingly well-made garments given the materials, including Angeria's curtain dress and Willow Pill's monster-inspired look. But I think the queen who really took the runway category and ran with it was Lady Camden. She shredded inflatable pools to create a fairy-inspired look.
Fairy tale.
However, that wasn't enough to beat out Georges' cookie cutter adorned nap, which RuPaul awarded the win. This is number 2 on my list, not because I think Lady Camden had one of the most amazing design looks in history, but it was rather because her win was given to a much weaker design look. It was actually this challenge that inspired me to create this list in the first place. When you have one queen who used 2 pieces of fabric and cookie cutters, beat out a queen who created an amazing and stylized fairy out of rubber pools, something is off. That's why she's here at number 2. The most controversial Drag Race Design Challenge win was Gottmik winning over Utica during the Bag Ball on Season 13. The Bag Ball had 3 categories, the first being the mixed bag, where the queens had to create a blank bag look, a money bags look, which was supposed to be a rich bag look where the queens had to decorate a purse along with it, and the Bag Ball Eleganza, where the queens had to create a look out of bags. As a costume designer, we knew Utica was going to turn something out for the ball, and she did not disappoint. She created an extremely complicated look out of a sleeping bag, which is not an easy material to work with. Gottmik, however, took the crown for her package, which involved a final look made out of bag handles or straps. The judges fell over themselves for her money bags look, which was fine, but it was not enough to put her ahead of Utica for a design challenge win, which I think should be weighted higher than the brought from home looks. Utica wasn't given the praise that she deserved at the time, and this was the icing on the cake. Utica's design look is one of the best in the history of Drag Race, and I hope that she comes back again so we can see more of what she can create. And there we have it. Those were the most controversial Drag Race Design Challenge wins in history. I truly think it would be an amazing season to have a Project Runway inspired Drag Race season where it was just design challenges. Can you imagine seeing someone like Raja and Trinity the Tuck and Utica and Jada and Mo Hart making looks that we could just look at every week? out of different materials. Would love to see it. But anyway, tell me your thoughts on this list. Is there anyone that I missed? Did I put anyone on the list that you wouldn't have put in the list? Let me know in the comments, and stay tuned for more stuff here on Wild Spear.